God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of life. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. And if the stars were made to worship so alive, I can see your heart in everything you make. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. And if creation sings your praises, so will I.
Hello, I am Shaquem Williams, a student at Liberty University, and I want to tell you why choosing an artist career is the best choice you're ever going to make. You may think that being an artist automatically means that you have to be a skilled painter, sculptor, or that you have to wear a beret. Now, you can choose to wear a beret, paint, and sculpt your heart's desire, but there is more to being an artist. As defined by Collins Dictionary, an artist is a person who practices or is skilled in an art. An artist can be defined as a fine painter, sculptor, or even an illustrator. Being an artist makes for a very flexible career path that can lead to a variety of lifestyles, such as designing cartoons for Disney or even sketching the blueprints for a roller coaster. My group and I were talking about different artists, and then I mentioned to them that God is the greatest artist of all. Artists have the freedom to create their own vision of art that helps symbolize their passion for presenting a representation of what is in their mind's eye. So my group and I were talking about different artists, and once again I mentioned to them that God is the greatest artist of all. So, as you can see in the beginning of the movie, I took my little sister on a little hike, and you could see the trees, grass, and sun. Also, my dog named Rockefeller, aka Rocky. So there are many creations from the greatest artist of all, which is God. So I'm going to bring it over to Hannah now and let her tell you about how God can be involved in your artwork and if you choose to major in art.
How can being an artist glorify God? The first verse I have is in Exodus 35 verses 31 through 33. And he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, ability, and knowledge in all kinds of crafts, to make artistic designs for work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of artistic craftsmanship. He has filled them with skill to do all kinds of work as craftsmen, designers, embroiders in blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen and weavers, all of them master craftsmen and designers. So Bezalel, Oholiab, and every skilled person to whom the Lord has given skill and ability to know how to carry out all the work of constructing the sanctuary, are to do work just as the Lord has commanded. So in this verse, it shows how God values human creativity that expresses truthful or righteous principles. The next verse I have is in Ephesians 5:19 through 20. Speak to one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Sing and make music in your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for everything in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. So this verse is just showing how God gives people the skills to create words to glorify God and just expand his temple. So my third and final verse is in Colossians 3:16. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, and as you sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus. Give thanks to God the Father through him. So this last and final verse is just about giving thanks to God in everything you do and say. So in relation to artists and God, I have other slides on how different artists in history have referenced the Bible in their works. So here I have Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam. This is in the Sistine Chapel. This work is like world renowned. Like this is God like breathing life into Adam, and I'm sure you've seen this in many different like pop culture things. His hand like reaching out to humanity. And then my next work is another work by Michelangelo, his sculpture of David. And what's special about this sculpture is not only is it referencing David from David and Goliath, but it was also a huge symbol in Italy, and it actually has like significant meaning to their like republic and what they stand for. And then my third and final work is Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper, and this is from the Gospel of John in the New Testament. It's Jesus sitting with his disciples, and it really shows emotion because it shows how Jesus had just told them that someone is going to betray me, and you can just see how they're like discussing that, and like this just relates to the Bible.
So there are a lot of different artists. There's a lot of different artists in the 21st century that they create art as a living. There's many different jobs and opportunities that a lot of artists take nowadays. Most, like it was mentioned before, a lot of artists nowadays are self-employed. So that means they work from home and they create stuff into portfolios and work off of commissions from there. And we usually, according to an article from the ArtNet Post, artists typically, it takes them about 7 entries into their portfolios before they actually get attention from art critics or people that usually like try to purchase art for housing or museum works, stuff like that. So they do have to create a little bit more. It is a little difficult to like have art as your primary career, and because of this, a lot of people that are primary artists usually have like a secondary job, like just your average job like at a department store, to addition to working with art. And another thing artists usually do is they kind of take business jobs to work along with their art. So like graphic design students can commission art for businesses, architecture students or people that are into architecture can they can help like with construction to help cities that are trying to emerge into buildings, and also studio artists are good with they can help businesses create designs or layouts or product placement things. So some modern day artists include like Bob Ross and Cindy Sherman. And so those are some of the things that artists in the 21st century do to a day-to-day basis.
This just in, Bryce Darby reporting live in the streets of Liberty University. Hi, I'm here with
Christopher Hill.
We're talking about art. So sir, you are a business and an art major, correct?
Well, I'm not an art major, I'm a business major, but I'm also an artist. I've worked as a fashion designer, I own a fashion company, and then I also just do art for fun.
And some of that artwork for fun is like right here, correct?
Yeah. This right here, this is a snowman commentary on the current state of the American culture.
Ooh.
As you can see, it is falling apart and looks alien and foreign. And then this is the proper snowman. This is what a good gentleman snowman should look like.
Yes.
Except none of that's actually true. This is the first snowman I've ever made, and then that's the second one I've ever made, and I just made some improvements.
And I think that is a beautiful job. It's let me ask you, what is like the average salary that artists can make?
I mean, it depends on the type of art that you're doing and where you are too. I mean, if you're a sketch artist for like NYPD, you're making like 80, 90 grand a year, as far as I know. If you're like me and you work in the fashion industry, that can vary a lot. I mean, if you're successful, let's say you get hired by a company like Yves Saint Laurent, I mean, you're going to be making upwards of $300,000 or $400,000 a year if you can get hired by a company like Yves Saint Laurent. Right now, I'm making not a whole lot because my company's pretty small still. It is what it is, working on it.
Okay, and how many years do you think it takes on average for a business to be in the degree to like get up to that level?
It can take a long time. I mean, if you look at like Louis Vuitton, it took a long time for Louis Vuitton to get big. But if you look at companies like Supreme was started in 1994, and now they're worth $1 billion. James Jebbia just sold 50% of his share in Supreme for $500 million like a month ago.
Wow.
So it can be quick, it can be fast. It really just depends. Depends on your stuff, and it depends on the culture too. I mean, Supreme got lucky because Drake wore one of his T-shirts. So it depends. Yeah.
So also, because this is a question that many young aspiring artists have. It's like, do you have to have an education and a degree in order to start up that company and be successful? Or
I don't have an art degree. I've not had any formal art training, but I've known people who are good artists who have just taught me things just on the side. One of my friends, who actually works for my company now, she's a graphic design student, and she's taught me some different techniques. I mean, even now I'm still learning. You're always learning. That's the key. You just constantly learn and develop, whether it's business or art or faith or anything. Just constant improvement.
Well, sir, I just want to say thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for the wisdom that you've bestowed upon us. And that's it from Live in the Streets of Liberty University. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
So there's a couple of different types of art jobs that you can have as an artist. So one, for example, is sculpting. You can sculpt anything, like snow, for example. This snowman is looking pretty nice today. Okay. And so there are different kinds of... What's this?
And here we go, and Bryce just sculpted a snowball right there through it, guys. Guys, we're getting to a snowball.
Right here, I'm just here, locally reporting as Liberty News. How's it going over there?
Big Molly!
And here we are with Angel, and she's just observing a snowball getting thrown at her. And she's just going to tell us about different types of ways to sculpt and what you can use to sculpt.
So you can also sculpt with things like ceramics, which is like clay or other things like that. And then you can sculpt through metals and plasters. So you can like cast molds and fill them in with plasters and make types of sculptures through things like that.